The alarm had been blaring for 2 hours straight on Deck 7 of the Stellar Harmony, and Captain Zekthor was about to lose what remained of his triple-lobed patience. "Explain to me again," the Valkyrian commander hissed, his scales rippling with frustration. "How a Class 3 Miravan cub infiltrated our ventilation system." Jack Rodriguez, the human maintenance chief, stood with his arms crossed, trying not to smile. "Well, Captain, the Moravan delegation's youngling got curious during the diplomatic dinner. According to the parents, their species goes through an exploration phase at this age. And now it's stuck in our life support systems, triggering every motion sensor between here and engineering." Zekthor's antenna twitched violently. "Can we not simply flood the vents with sleep gas?" "Negative, sir." Jessica Chen, the ship's xenobiologist and Jack's partner, stepped forward with her datapad. "Miravan cubs have a protective reflex when threatened. They secrete a corrosive mucus that would eat through our vent linings in minutes. We'd be looking at catastrophic system failure." The captain's scales paled to a sickly yellow. "Then what do you propose?" Jessica glanced at the ventilation schematic on the wall display. The vent system was a labyrinth, over 15 kilometers of ducting threading through the massive colony ship, with passages as narrow as 40 centimeters in some sections. No maintenance drone could navigate it all, and the ship's insectoid engineer, Clicktash, was far too large. "I'll go in," Jessica said simply. The bridge fell silent. Even the alarm seemed to pause. "You?" Zekthor's voice cracked. "You humans are absurdly fragile. Your bones break, your skin tears, you require constant temperature regulation. And I'm also 160 centimeters tall and weigh 54 kilos, Jessica interrupted. "I can fit where your drones can't. I've done confined space work before." Jack stepped beside her. "She's right, Captain. Jess did cave rescue back on Earth. If anyone can navigate that maze, it's her." Zekthor looked between the two humans, his 3 eyes blinking in different patterns, a sign of deep concern among his species. "The cub has been in there for 2 hours. It will be frightened, dangerous," Jessica smiled. "Then it's a good thing humans are also really good at being stubborn." 20 minutes later, Jessica was crawling through Junction 7 Alpha, her headlamp cutting through the darkness. She'd stripped down to a thin bodysuit, carried only a small pack with treats, water, and a thermal blanket. Every movement echoed through the metal tunnels. "How's it going down there?" Jack's voice crackled through her earpiece. "Like being inside a really angry accordion," Jessica grunted, squeezing through a particularly tight turn. "I'm reading elevated temperature in Sector C. That matches Moravan body heat signatures, right?" "Affirmative," came the reply from the Moravan ambassador, Riska, her maternal voice tight with worry. "But please be careful, human Jessica. When frightened, cubs may bite. Their saliva carries mild neurotoxins." "Great," Jessica muttered. "Spicy danger kitten." She crawled for another 30 minutes following the heat signatures and the occasional small scratch marks on the vent walls. Her knees ached, her shoulders screamed, but she'd been in tighter spots in the Phong Na caves back home. This was just vertical instead of horizontal. Then she heard it, a small whimpering chirp echoing through the ductwork. "I've got audio contact," Jessica whispered, barely breathing. She followed the sound through 2 more junctions until her headlamp reflected off 2 enormous, terrified eyes in the darkness ahead. The Moravan cub was the size of a house cat, covered in downy purple fur, with 6 stubby legs and a long prehensile tail. It was wedged in a corner where 2 ducts met. Trembling and making distressed clicking sounds, Jessica's heart melted. "Hey there, little one," she cooed softly, switching off her headlamp so only the dim emergency lighting remained. She'd learned from the briefing that Moravans had excellent night vision. Her bright light was probably terrifying. The cub hissed, showing tiny needle teeth. Jessica slowly reached into her pack and pulled out one of the treats Riska had provided, a protein cube that smelled vaguely like cinnamon. She placed it on the duct floor and pushed it gently toward the cub. "I know you're scared. I know this place is big and loud and confusing. But your mom is waiting for you, sweetie, and I'm going to help you get home." She kept talking, soft and steady, the way she'd once talked down a panicked climber stuck on a cliff face in Colorado. She pushed another treat forward. Then another. The cub sniffed. Its ears, 3 of them, triangular and fuzzy, perked up slightly. Jessica began humming, an old lullaby her grandmother had sung to her. She didn't know if Moravans even understood music, but the rhythm seemed to calm the tiny creature. Slowly, so slowly, the cub crept forward and took the treat. Jessica smiled. There we go. Good baby. For the next hour, she coaxed the cub closer, treat by treat, song by song. She told it stories about Earth, about mountains and oceans and forests. She described the feeling of rain and the smell of flowers. The cub seemed to listen, its trembling gradually subsiding. Finally, when the cub was close enough, Jessica carefully wrapped it in the thermal blanket, not to restrain, but to comfort the way Riska had instructed. The cub let out a small chirp. Then something incredible happened. It began to purr. The sound vibrated through the entire vent system, a deep, resonant thrumming that spoke of contentment and trust. Jack? I've got her. We're coming home. When Jessica emerged from the access hatch in the cargo bay, still cradling the purring cub, she was met with applause from the assembled crew. Riska rushed forward, tears streaming down her fur-covered face, and gently took her baby. Thank you, human Jessica, the ambassador whispered. You have done what none of our rescue teams could. Your species truly is remarkable. Captain Zekthor approached, his scales now a warm amber. I apologize for my earlier assessment. Your fragility is perhaps not the weakness I thought. Jessica grinned, covered in dust and vent grease. Captain, humans didn't get off Earth by being sensible. We got there by being too stubborn to know when to quit. Jack wrapped an arm around her shoulders. That's my girl. Crazy, determined, and unreasonably good with animals. As the medical team checked over both Jessica and the cub, the word spread through the stellar harmony. Never underestimate a human who decides to care. The cub purred all night long,